All right, after that quick interview, we are right back into the action here. Isaiah Williams, Justin Kulas, right as the interview was ending, they were just about to start game two, so we moved them over real quick so we could bring you some more action. Isaiah Williams did win, from what we understand, an incredibly tight game one with his Zorak Garbodor deck, and Justin Kulas playing Pikarom, putting Isaiah to the test on his birthday weekend, however, fell just a bit short. So we are in here, game one. We are resolving a Marshadow Let Loose after a Lightning Energy has been attached to the active Zapdos, and Pikarom, and I believe picked up a Choice Band sitting on the bench.
Yeah, and that turn's going to be going still because a Shaman was drawn off of those 4 cards for the Let Loose, meaning that Justin's turn can just keep on exploding, although that's not really a surprise here in the expanded format when you have Shaman EX and its setup ability as an option to just keep on drawing cards after cards after cards.
Isaiah drew his 4, and I saw the 4th card he picked up was a Tapu Lele GX. So Isaiah, breathing a sigh of relief, will have access to a supporter in his turn if he wants it. Shaman setting back up to 6 cards in hand. Ultra Ball, see you later N, see you later Lightning Energy. I'm going to go find myself a Pokemon of my choosing.
Absolutely here, and the turn isn't going to end anytime soon. Looks like tough to say based off where we got into the action with, getting a very brief inventory of the deck. There's a Tapu Koko Prism Star, Dance of the Ancients ability, so crucial in being able to get more options for Pikarom later.
Dance of the Ancients going to be able to bring that Pikarom one step closer to being powered up. Max Elixir needs a Lightning. It hits. So after a Dance of the Ancients, because of the Lightning Energy discarded to the Ultra Ball, that is going to be a fully powered Pikarom ready to start full blitzing into Isaiah's team.
That's for sure. And with this setup here, Isaiah, though, seems pretty calm for the most part. I think he's just going to go ahead and default to his typical setup here. If he's sitting on not much of anything, then it really doesn't matter one way or the other. There's that Tapu Lele there in the hand, so of course he can map out his next turn or two with this Tapu Lele Wonder Tag, getting a very clear setup for himself as long as he has Bridget available, not in the prizes, able to get those bench Pokemon going and threaten Justin in multiple ways, both with Zorak drawing and dealing damage, and potentially Garbodor dealing tons of damage with Trash Avalanche.
Tapu Lele GX jumps down onto the bench. Isaiah did thumb and a Bridget to the front. Plays the Bridget, Zorua, Trubbish, and Zorua.
That's
so,
right.
Kind of seen that all weekend. No changing of the game plan here for Isaiah. Just going to stick with the tried and true Zora Trubbish. Going to shuffle up, and we're going to see what the other 4 cards in his hand is. Hopefully there's a draw supporter Pokemon in there. I know there's a DCE in there. I believe I saw that. So Isaiah with some options moving forward.
Yeah, and I don't think that he would hop into that Bridget without at least some sort of backup plan. Otherwise, it is very dangerous to do that. And we've seen players do that before where they Bridgeted for their setup cards, just hoping they would top deck something that they needed, and then turns out they don't top deck it and are in an awkward position where they had an okay start but just didn't follow through with it. But I think Isaiah should have what he needs.
Held on to the DCE, does have an N. I saw him while he was shuffling through his hand, and that's exactly what you're talking about. He did have a reserve option here. Max Elixir, I believe, failed. I did not see a Lightning Energy come down from it.
That's right, and we just got word from the floor that Jose, in the match that will play against the winner of this one, Jose Marrero, has won against John Eng 2-0, and it advances to the top 4 of the tournament.
Trainer's mail after the Professor Sycamore. 4 cards are there. Couple options. Justin going 4 cards. Let me check my hand. Let me check the 4 cards. Check my hand. And elects to fail. Interesting choice there. Maybe nothing of value or nothing worth putting into his hand to use as a resource. Maybe if he needs the Sycamore next turn or something along those lines. Trainer's mail, number 2 coming down this turn. And fails it again.
Yeah, so we got a pretty explosive first turn, but the second one a bit stuttered as opposed to the first one.
Justin would love to see... not too sure. A little discussion there. not too sure what's going on. Judge is on the scene, gonna help us get that sorted out there. I didn't see anything off. Looked like Trainer's Mail, and then look at the top 4, shuffle them back in. Played another copy of Trainer's Mail, top 4, shuffled them back in, and then attached a Lightning Energy for turn, which all of that seemed kosher to me. Not too sure what the concern is. Trying to think in my mind. Turn 1, manually attached to Zapdos, Max Elixired onto the Pikarom, Dance of the Ancients onto Shaman and Pikarom, and then turn 2, manually attached to Pikarom,
So
and then did 2 Trainer's Mails.
Yeah, I
after,
definitely see
and
your
of
point.
course, all that was instigated. It was attached Lightning Energy, Professor Sycamore, and then we did 2 Trainer's Mails, which were both failed. So I don't know if something was maybe missed in a previous turn.
That certainly can happen, and if something is missed in a previous turn at maybe even a different point in the first game, all sorts of possibilities. But if it gets caught, you got to go ahead and do your due diligence, fix things however you can, and then get players back on the match going at the pace that they should.
Absolutely. Sierra just went and checked that out. I think we're going to get a note here shortly just to get an idea of what actually happened.
And by the way, thanks to our amazing stream manager.
Yeah.
Always
Shout
helpful,
out to
always
Sierra, always
diligent.
taking care of us here. She walked over there and was right back fairly quickly, so we'll see what it is if you just bear with us for just a moment. Judge figuring out insufficient shuffling issue.
That's right. You know what? I think I heard some sort of complaint in the blogo social media sphere that maybe one player at a different point had not shuffled sufficiently, and that actually is an aspect of the game, especially at the competitive level, where there are certain standards and conventions related to shuffling, not just like putting one stack of the deck on top of the other, but you actually have to sufficiently randomize. And if you don't sufficiently randomize, then that could be a penalty against you, especially for one of these decks like Pikarom. It's really relevant. You're chaining a whole bunch of cards all at once, and if all you do is a single like riffle, a single side shuffle, that's usually not enough to actually count as a sufficient shuffle, and you could get penalized for that.
Yeah, top 8, obviously, pretty rules hawking over there, the judges, as they should be, sitting at the table, and calling it into question. That's okay. Much rather question it now than have it come up 2 days later when somebody's like, "Whoa, how'd you let this go by?" So,
yeah.
Probably a little heads up to Justin. We're going to give you a couple more of those before you move forward and do your next action. However, Isaiah, I don't think threw the brakes on the turn by any means. So it seemed like it was truly a judge raising the concern rather than Isaiah. So what we're going to do, we're going to let that resolved. We're just going to switch it to a be right back screen while that gets settled out, and we'll be right back. So catch you in a second.
Hey trainers, welcome back. I want to give you a brief update on that exciting top 8 match. After a ruling on the floor, it has been determined that Justin Kulas had insufficient shuffling throughout 2 trainers' mail. As a result, there was a judge ruling a prize penalty, double prize penalty awarded against Justin. All that means is it doesn't change the board at all, but Izel's just going to have to draw 2 fewer prizes to win the game. So let's get back in the action now.
We see, let's catch up with where Justin is here. I believe he just played down an Electro Power from his hand. Taking a look. Justin, a key here that he doesn't get frazzled by the occurrences of right there. Mindful on his shuffles now, but has to try and get his head back in the game. I can see how that would be disruptive, having something like that when you thought you were doing everything you should have been, and he was falling a little short. So Pika Ram off of that Ultra Ball that threw away a Flash Energy and maybe a Full Art Guzma, if my guesswork is correct. And certainly not taking any chances here. Couple over the tops and a riffle shuffle, and Justin has learned his lesson, unfortunately, the hard way.
That's right, and I think we might see an abundance of caution here. There are certain standards about how many riffles you can do. Usually about what Justin did just there. That's a pretty reasonable shuffle, especially with the added layer of the opponent getting the chance to cut, tap, or shuffle himself.
Zero Aura was actually what was searched out. I believe I said Pikaram, but it was Zero Aura that was searched up. And Pikaram going to grab 3 energies right there. Justin saying, you know, do your worst.
Yep.
You've got the Tapu Lele on your board. I've got the Choice Band. I'm ready to take multiple prizes on my following turn.
Fully loaded, full blitz right there. And even with the threat of a Garbodor or Trashalanche right there, it's not really that phasing to Justin. He's just like, you know what, go ahead and bring it. I can go ahead and hit you again.
After the resolution of that full blitz, a good shuffle, and we are on to Isaiah's turn. Justin having nabbed that prize after he got done shuffling. Isaiah, pressure's on, got to figure something out. Floatstone is where we're starting, onto the Trubbish. Trashalanche Garbodor going to jump onto the Trubbish as well. DCE on the Tapu Lele.
And I like that because it's severely punishing Justin's decision to load up so much energy here. And interesting little note about the dynamic in the prize penalty. Even though there are 2 prizes against Justin, it is not going to impact the number of energy or cards drawn off of this end. So just a little meta thing, a little tournament ruling, but not going to actually impact the natural flow of the game.
That was something that I believe happened March or April of 2018, changing that rule set from how it stands, how you just explained it, to actually physically taking the 2 prizes.
Right, so Isaiah doesn't get punished for Zone N or anything like that.
Isaiah with 6 cards in hand finds a Psychic Energy, already attached the DCE to Tapu Lele, probably going to start energy driving to apply pressure to that Pikachu Zekrom in that fashion. Ultra Ball is where we start. Ultra Ball with Hue going away and a Parallel City.
Not a whole lot of mileage out of that Parallel City when the only things that would get discarded would be Justin's Shamans, which are actually liabilities for him at this point.
Isaiah going to search up Ditto Prism. Trubbish, Ditto Prism or Trubbish. I do like Isaiah not going for Zoroark GX right there, simply because he clearly has a plan to apply pressure with the Tapu Lele GX. If you got a Zoroark GX, 1 Guzma from Justin could really punish Isaiah for 4 prizes.
Oh yeah, and I mean the prize penalty here can't be understated in terms of how important it is for the way Isaiah is approaching this. Even if it technically doesn't change certain mechanical things like N, it's just 2 knockouts. That's all that Isaiah effectively needs right now. Either this knockout on Pikachu Zekrom GX and a little tiny thing on the bench, or just a couple Shaman.
Yeah, and those Shaman, that is well within Zoroark GX's wheelhouse. Just a hard retreat, excuse me, not hard retreat, Floatstone driven retreat to the Tapu Lele GX energy drive for a quick 160 damage, and over to Justin for his turn.
Yeah, although you know what, Justin can apply a lot of pressure here anyways, because with the Tag Bolt GX, he's obviously already gone for the additional damage capability with Tag Bolt GX, but at this point, it's going to let him get from 5 prizes left to 2, effectively really only needing 1 more knockout to pull this game out if Isaiah puts any GX Pokemon in play.
Off that trainer's mail, I believe it was Energy Switch that Justin selected. Justin doesn't have a backup attacker of the right power level. Yes, Zapdos is there, but this deck is not a Zapdos deck like we see in Standard.
Oh, yeah.
It is a Pikarom deck, and there's no other Pikarom in sight as we speak. Just the fully powered one that's sitting in the active spot.
Correct. So he's really banking on this one to put in a lot of mileage for him, whereas Isaiah, he just needs to get a couple knockouts on his end. He's okay. And, of course, he needs to get this knockout here on the Pikachu Zekrom to put himself in a better board position.
Escape Rope going to force Isaiah to promote something, and we'll be able to use Tag Bolt GX fully powered to knock out the Tapu Lele GX on the bench as well.
And a little bit of hesitance there in that escape rope promotion, and I cannot say that I blame Isaiah because his typical fare for early game setup would be 2-0 and that Trubbish. By playing the escape rope, Justin is severely disrupting that flow of the game right now, and so he's going to be stuck with only a single Zoroark next turn.
Interesting promotion here. Zapdos with that Thunderous Assault attack, 10 plus, excuse me, I believe it's 10 plus 70 if it came into the active spot this turn. And just going to take the knockout with the Zapdos, preserving the Pikachu Zekrom GX onto the bench. And Isaiah going to step up with the Floatstone Garbodor and draw for turn.
Yep, and we got a top deck for that Ditto, which was previously eyed for the search last turn. Could go onto the bench to be another Trubbish, another Zorua, however Isaiah wants to go about it. We already have that Guzma, and this is what I like here, seizing the moment, seizing the state of the board and the game overall by getting that Guzma, seeing himself get that 3-prize knockout on the Pikachu Zekrom, putting himself 1 prize away from going into the top 4, but not even making himself too vulnerable to an end from Justin, because remember guys, he'll be drawing 3 cards off of that end if it's played, not 1.
Ditto Prism played by Isaiah. Guzma still hanging out in hand, and I'd be remiss to say if that's not targeting down that Pikachu Zekrom, so Tapu Lele can come in and energy drive for 3 prizes.
Yep, and there it goes.
That's what we see happen.
And we got a really explosive hit, 2 explosive hits in a row with that Tapu Lele against the Pikachu Zekrom GX, with a little bit of overkill there to boot, and 3 prizes drawn. Remember, not just a regular GX Pokemon, folks. It's a tag team GX, so draw 1 more prize. Yeah, Justin electing to use Zapdos to take a single prize there when he could have promoted the Shaman, hard retreated. I believe there was a Shaman that had a lightning energy on it. Maybe I missaw that, and I was thinking that could be used as the pivot. However, that's not the case. That's not the route that Justin chose. And now we have a Zapdos in the active with 1 energy, a Zeraora GX on the bench with 1 lightning energy, and Isaiah Williams with an unconventional setup on his side of the board, however, only needs to take 1 more prize to win this game. Yeah, and I can't really say I've seen this too often before where a player has no Zoroark GX in play, no Garbodor or Trashlanche attacking, and yet they're this close to being able to secure their top 8 victory. Gold Ultra Ball discarding Tapu Lele GX, and I believe that is a Pikachu Zekrom under there. These rainbow rares giving us a little bit of fits in the booth. Got to try and catch just the corner, see if you can figure out what it is. Yeah. But that is a Tapu Koko GX that may arrow trail in and start sky-high clawsing, or even using Tapu Thunder GX, 50 times the amount of energy on your opponent's side of the board. And hey, that's a nifty approach because it's going to punish these previous energy attachments and is realistically about the only way that Justin can win this game right now is just getting some sort of efficient attacker, getting out there, dealing damage, and maybe getting him across the finish line. Tapu Koko GX did come down. Arrow trailed into the active, scooping up all those lightning energy. Electro Power will push the damage because there's 3 energy on, excuse me, there's only 2 energy on Isaiah's side of the board. I was thinking the Floatstone on the Garbodor was a psychic energy, but it's not. You know so right now, Thunderous. Oh, wait a second. I think he needed, pardon me cutting you off there, I think he needed a 3rd Energy, but
An Electro Power and an Energy would have done it. However, Justin ends to 4 and falls a bit short.
he just hit a bunch of VS Seekers at Electro Power. I think, yeah, he whiffed it.
He had a lot of outs there. Thunder Mountain and Electro Power, Thunder Mountain and a Choice Band, Energy and a Choice Band, Energy and a Thunder Mountain. Just needed either two of those pieces. Found.
That's a pretty
Now
nice.
he's got to preserve an Energy.
Okay, and this is
Retreat with Zeraora and hit in for 80 plus the Electro Power damage, 110, I believe is what we're going to see here. And 110 to a Tapu Lele, not the turn that Justin wanted to cobble together for himself to try and come back, especially fighting through this 2-prize penalty. Isaiah Williams, Ultra Ball, Parallel City.
I don't think he's hesitating at all. Yep, and
TCE
there we go. We've got
attached.
the 1-prize win for the match, and in what was a pretty exciting, a little controversial turn of events there, Isaiah is able to close that out and advance to the top 4 against Jose Marrero.
Jose Marrero with that Rayquaza GX, so definitely some work ahead of him in these rounds continuing. And on the other side of the board, Jonathan Croxton took the big W in convincing fashion. However, Trev matchup so bad and some of his personal life circumstances, he said, I think I'm just going to hit the road. So I believe Jacob and Sam was a little bit ahead of Game 3 from the reports we got. So it's definitely going to be Trev in the finals, and then Jose Marrero squaring off against Birthday Weekend Birthday Boy.
Whatever.
3 words. We'll cobble it together.
Birth boy.
Facing up against Rayquaza GX. So
Forever 21.
We're gonna grab a winner's interview. We've still got some time in the round. I think the other folks are playing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go grab the Birthday Boy, and we will be right back with an interview.